So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here with the great trombonist Vincent Gardner, and you guys just finished the great concert here with Wynton Marsalis. Tell us a little bit about the concert, because it was such a wonderful concert hall. It must have been an amazing experience performing there.
It was, and it's the first time that we played in that hall. Normally we played on the outdoor stages before, but this time playing at that hall, we got a much more intimate experience playing for everybody, and it went great. I mean, of course, this is a jazz crowd, so they know how to respond to things. They know exactly what to do. When they hear something they like, they let you know. It's one of those kind of places. So we always love playing for people like that. It was really nice.
Well, it's just a fantastic atmosphere here at the festival. It's too bad it's not this way more in the United States. It's just. But tell us. You mentioned that you guys had a little bit of challenges getting here, man. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the normal get held up at the border. I mean, we're traveling by bus, and we were in Portsmouth, New Hampshire last night. So we drove up from there, and we got held up at the bus at the border a little bit, and we all had to get out of the bus and present our passports. It took about an hour delay, which caused us to get here a little late and only get here right in time for our sound check. So we didn't really have time to check out any of the other musicians playing, which is something that we would have looked forward to.
Sure.
But we got here right in time for our sound check, and then our gig was just a couple hours later.
Well, you didn't miss too much because it was raining pretty hard earlier.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
But man, you had some great arrangements in this concert, man.
Thank you.
That arrangement there. Tell us about your process when you're making an arrangement. I'm sure it's interesting as a musician. You kind of performing with Wynton so much and performing in different combinations. You kind of learn that experience on the road. But tell us about your process when you're making an arrangement and how it works.
Well, I'm privileged to play with this band and get to write for this band, because I know the band I'm writing for. I know the individuals that I'm writing for and what they can do, and I know their sounds, which is, I guess, the most important thing. And that's a perspective that, with the very small number of bands that are actually out here working nowadays, a lot of people don't get, I guess, that people used to get in years past. When there were a lot of bands working, people knew the bands and could write for specific things or aspects of the band. Now, that doesn't happen, but luckily I get to do it. So when I write for the band, I'm thinking of person sounds. I'm thinking of Ted Nash, and his abilities on flute and piccolo and on alto saxophone. I'm thinking of a certain sound, Ryan Kaiser on lead trumpet. I'm thinking of how I can use Wynton in the ensemble and what I can give him, the kind of stuff that he likes to play. So I use all of the personalities of the musicians, and I try to incorporate that kind of stuff into the arrangement and balance that with whatever it is I have to arrange. And so I think the arrangement that you heard of, Thelonious Monk's Light Blue, we did that originally for a concert that we did with Marcus Roberts playing piano. And so I knew I wanted to feature the piano as much as possible, and I knew I wanted to kind of keep Monk's very sparse blues elements that he had. I mean, this song is like an 8-bar blues as opposed to the regular 12-bar blues that everybody knows. This is like an 8-bar blues. It harkens back to the earlier days of the blues when the blues didn't have a set 12-bar form. And so I tried to keep that kind of feeling in the arrangement and just add whatever I could around it, but keep the integrity of the piece. And that's what I tried to balance in it, and still write things that I knew were specific for this orchestra, like passages for piccolos and all kind of alternate woodwinds and all that kind of stuff. So I try to balance all of that together. Of course, the great thing about this band, you can write anything for this band.
Sure, you guys
and they'll be able to play
one of the greatest bands in the world. You guys doing things all over the place, and you guys are top tier musicians, and I really enjoyed that. And you're doing a lot of things. I just I'm a former classmate of yours at Rutgers for jazz history, and you did a thesis on jazz clubs in Brooklyn, right? The early.
Yeah, the history of jazz in Brooklyn. Yep.
Wow.
About 70-year history.
You were just telling me you're thinking about publishing that, right?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Wow.
We'll see what
happens. And then you're teaching at Swing University at Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
You know, really the Renaissance man doing a lot of stuff, which is really great, man.
I don't know. I'm here. I want to do whatever I can to be a part of the music and to keep playing it. So, you know, I try to incorporate all of that in my life, you know, all aspects of passing it on to people who may not get a chance to see it as much or hear it as much as they should, by teaching to them and trying to get them to garner a greater appreciation of it, and trying to play as much as I can, you know.
Well, it's all about a healthy balance, but you seem to be doing it right. And you know, for young musicians who are watching this, you know, who want to do what it is that you do, or try to do what it is that you do, what advice would you have for them? Because you lead a very busy life, but it's a very successful life. So what advice do you have to young aspiring musicians?
Well, you know, there's no way that, let me see, I moved to New York in 1996. So there's no way that then, you know, 16 years ago, going on 17, I guess, that I could have known how my life would turn out now, and that I would be teaching and I would be doing this.
Sure.
The most important thing, of course, is if you're going to be a performer, is to play and to practice and to always try to further your craft, and everything else comes out of that. And so I think that's the most important thing, is that you always make sure that you have your performance ability up to the level that you want it. And then other things, other aspects of jazz music that you want to get into, such as teaching or arranging or whatever else you do, it has to be centered around that. And so I think that was my biggest thing. Now, I just came to New York to be a trombone player. I wanted to just be a jazz trombone player. And that kind of really, that really jump-started my love for every other aspect of it. So doing that was the most important thing. So I think that's the most important thing. Make sure that you keep playing and that you keep practicing and trying to further the performance aspect of it, because the most important thing in music is the sound. So make sure that you get the sound of what you're doing together. And I think for me, that's been the most important thing, and it still is.
Well, Vincent, thanks so much for giving cats that perspective.
No.
I know you don't have too much time, but maybe give us one anecdotal story about working with Wynton over all these years. Something interesting or fun or something, you know, because you guys have toured all over the world. Something that struck a chord with you, you know, working with Wynton.
Well, you know, I don't have any one story I can give you. I can just tell you that he works extremely hard. And when you see him on a stage or doing whatever it is that you see him in an environment that's visible, that's maybe 10% of what he's done during the day. And there have been a million other things that he's done in support of Jazz at Lincoln Center and of jazz music and of his career and of the well-being of jazz music and all of the things that he happens to affect. There's been a million other things that he's done in support of that in the day before he comes to the gig and plays with us with the big band. And that's every day that I've been in the band for 12 years. And every single day that I've been there, he's done that. And that just, I guess, shows his passion for trying to further this music that he believes in. You know, he tries to play it on the highest level. He tries to run an organization centered around jazz, administratively on the highest level. He tries to do everything, you know, in service of the music as he could in all hours of the day. And I see him do that, and it just gives you, you know, it gives you energy being around him, because you get to see all the stuff that he does outside of playing his horn, which he does, you know, amazingly, of course.
And that's really great, you know, that you tell the public about this, you know, because some of the jazz musicians in the jazz world, perhaps they get a little jealous of what it is that Wynton's doing, or there's something that some of the mainstream jazz musicians have an issue with what it is that Wynton's doing. Why do you think that is, and what do you think a person could do to just, you know, work around that? Because I think Wynton's doing the right thing with that, but why do you think he has encountered that?
Well, I'm sure there are a number of reasons, you know. There are a number of reasons for that, but the best way to counteract that is just, you know, to be able to play. That's the best thing. It all comes down to the music. The best thing to counteract any kind of, you know, confrontations that might happen within the music is to settle it on the bandstand. So that's what I always say to address that, and I'm sure he feels the same way. That if there's ever any kind of issue, with anything, well, let's just settle it on the bandstand. And there's nothing else that needs to be said besides what's going to come out of his horn.
Of course.
And I mean, nowadays it's important that we have the attitude of utilizing all the talents that we have to further the music. With this absence of an infrastructure of jazz that used to be there, 20 years ago, we had many jazz labels, we had many more jazz magazines, we had many more promoters, people there was this infrastructure that was in place. Now that's not in place anymore, or it's degraded to a certain degree. And now you can see that Wynton, as hard as he works that hard because he has to, and it's not because it's making him do it. He wants to do it in absence of a world that he came up in, because when he first started his career, that infrastructure was there. And now I think he sees that it's not there, and I think that may help him to work even harder towards furthering his own musical mission.
Sure.
And keeping it going with the same amount of drive as there used to be when you had all of these different departments and people behind him pushing the music and helping things out. Yeah. He's doing all that, and he's helped to grow jazz at Lincoln Center to do that also now. And I think that helps to fuel him a little bit to keep things going on the way that he wants them to go.
Well, that's a very good way of looking at it. That's very important, I think what Wynton is doing, I myself, as a young musician, he's the guy who got me into this music, I saw him at Boston Symphony Hall, saw you guys performing there, and that was really inspiring to me. So, and you're a part of that. So, Vincent, thank you so much for what it is that you guys are doing, and just continue doing it, because that's, this scene really needs people like what you guys do. The scene needs cats doing that, and just playing straight ahead, doing the music straight ahead, and and doing the history, and doing the teaching, and passing the music on. So
we need
Vincent,
more too.
We need more of it.
More.
Yeah, but we always try, and we just keep pushing it, man. So Vincent, thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you, man.
And cats, check this cat out, because Vincent Gardner is one of the greatest trombonists in jazz. So you got to check out his music, and stay tuned for future interviews. Try to get some more guys from this band, because the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra is here in Montreal, and we want to bring to you the great message that they have. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.